How are we doing, everybody? So, thank you very much, Shannon. Anyone used to watch The Next Revolution? So how about we make the next revolution the California Revolution? What about that? Let's focus on that. I just want to say to Shannon, I do appreciate that you're slumming it with the lesser Hilton this weekend. You talk about glitz and glam. What about my glitz and glam, Shannon? I don't have glitz and glam. Oh, okay. I know, exactly. A lot of glitz, anyway, I think, with these lights. It's very good to see you. I'm going to get into some of the serious stuff later. I just want to say one main thing about Senator Shannon Grove, who I've gotten to know over the last year or so. And it reminds me of something very relevant to this organization. I know that you as an organization, you're very proud of the endorsement of Ronald Reagan, who praised you as was it the conscience of the party, right? So one of my favorite books, in fact, Josiah and I were talking earlier on the way up here that I don't read that many books. I write some. I don't read that many. One of my favorite books is, perhaps some of you have this at home or you've seen it, is the book of Ronald Reagan's letters. Have you seen that book? Amazing. So beautiful. He wrote the most beautiful letters to all sorts of people, and it's organized. This book is organized through the phases of his life. Because as you mentioned, Shannon, I'm now very much focused on our wonderful state of California. The first section I turned to was the letters he wrote as governor of California. And one of them that really stuck in my mind was a letter of appreciation to someone that I can't remember the name of the person, that he hired to sort out the mess in the University of California system, particularly when he was first governor. He had a lot of student unrest and so on. And the current head was hopeless, and he put someone in and he calmed the situation down, whatever. So Governor Reagan wrote a letter saying thank you to this person that he'd appointed. And the last line of the letter was, I have just one more question. Where can we get another dozen of you? And every time I see Shannon Grove, I think, where can we get another dozen of you? If we had just another dozen of Shannon Groves in our legislature, it would be a very different situation. Where's Rick Stevenson? There he is, Rick Stevenson. So we agreed in advance that we would meet up tonight. We have a mutual friend, and we were connected. And I've got to say, Rick, I mean, I want a little poll here, because there's someone else, that the first person I met coming in tonight when we were over at the hotel, literally the first person, I saw that person, I thought, look at this guy in the orange shirt, okay? So could the person in the orange shirt please stand up? Okay, very good. So that is an amazing shirt. And Rick came up to me, and we were going to meet, and he said, I love your orange shirt. And I said, wait a minute, this isn't an orange shirt. You want to see an orange shirt? Come here. Right. So Rick, that's an orange shirt. Okay.
Go Giants.
Very good. So that is an orange shirt. I like to think this is a golden shirt because we're in the golden state and we're going to make it truly golden again together, right? Exactly. I'm wearing this golden shirt. Anyway, thank you very much, Rick. We had a great conversation. Where is our Piper still with us? There we are, a magnificent Piper. Please stand up. We didn't really acknowledge you properly. The bagpipes. Beautiful rendition. I know some of you were I was at the Fresno County Lincoln Reagan dinner this week. A lot of you were there. So we had let's put it like this, an alternative rendition. In that case, it was the national anthem. It was a little rough, shall we say. It was a guitarist. It was a little rough, if anyone's there. You remember, like, everyone was like, when is this over? Nice guy did his best. Whereas tonight we had an alternative rendition that was absolutely magnificent and beautiful. Thank you very much for that. And played the song beautifully and didn't go on and on forever. which is what we had at the Fresno Lincoln Reagan dinner. So the CRA, I remember asking the first time. I've heard the mention of the the Reagan appreciation of this magnificent organization. But my first question was, okay, what to describe the CRA? Well, we're really the grassroots. We are the grassroots. I said, yes, great. They are my people. I am the grassroots. That's how I started. I love being here with you. And you know, almost the favorite thing I've heard tonight was hearing about the conservative Republicans of Silicon Valley. Amazing. There we are. So do you know what? Now, why did I love hearing that? Because not everyone knows this. I mean, some you know by now. You know, I came over from England, as Shannon mentioned, got my citizenship. So proud. I stand before you as a proud American. I'm also from Silicon Valley. I live in Silicon Valley. So there you are. I am also, with you, a conservative Republican of Silicon Valley. How about that? I heard also that last year, was it maybe a few months ago, you had Sebastian Gorka. One of you showed me a picture. And you know the first thing I heard about Sebastian Gorka, speaking to you last year from someone, and I do have to say I get this all the time. I know I was on the television, and then you meet people in real life, they meet you, and I get that look all the time. I'm very used to it. And they look you up and down, and sometimes they're very polite and don't say anything. And other time, and you can sort of see it in their eyes, and other times they actually come straight out with it. It's like, you're not as tall as I thought you were going to be. Or even the opposite, you're much shorter than I thought you were going to be. But tonight, well, you are a very direct crowd. And it was like straight away. Last time we had Sebastian Gorka. He's really big and you're really short. So I've only got one thing to say to that. And some of you may have heard me say this before because, you know, it's not that I'm sensitive about it. I just want people to know the facts. I'm not the shortest person at Fox News. I'm not. I'm not even the second shortest person at Fox News. I am the third shortest person at Fox News. Can anyone guess the league table? Greg Gutfeld, there you are. Greg Gutfeld is shorter than me. Dana Perino is shorter than Greg Gutfeld. So there you are. I'm the third shortest person at Fox News. My real claim to fame. It's fantastic to be here. But the thing I just really, you know, in terms of Sebastian Gorka, the other thing, of course, we have in common is that we are Hungarian. So yes, I was raised in the UK. My parents are Hungarian. Same as Sebastian Gorka. We spoke, in fact, we both spoke at an event down in where was it? In Ontario. That's right, Ontario the other weekend. I'd just come back from Japan. Can I tell my Japan joke? I did enjoy it. I think the audience enjoyed it. So I had literally just come back from Japan, speaking at this event in Ontario. And like that day. And when you come back from Japan, if any of you have been there, we were there for a family vacation, you actually, because of the time difference, you arrive literally before you leave. And it's all over the place. And then I had to speak at this event. And as I said then, and I will say again now, there I was, you know, I didn't know what time it was. I didn't know what day it was. I didn't know what language I'm supposed to be speaking. In other words, I felt just like Joe Biden on a regular day. I think I'll have to find a way of getting that into events for a long time to come. So there I was in Ontario, and Sebastian Gorka was there. We spoke to each other in Hungarian for a little bit. But the serious point I wanted to make is this journey, this incredible journey. So my parents left Hungary, communist country, in search of freedom to the UK. So I had the incredible good fortune compared to my cousins who stayed in Hungary to be born in a free society in the UK. And now here I am. And I feel as if that journey in search of freedom has now come all the way. And now I really am home here in America. And I just feel so incredibly honored and proud and fortunate. And there's just one thing I want to say about all of that, which is the fact that we all stood a few moments ago and said the pledge. Just never forget how important that is and how special that is. To say that the fact that we do that together, it doesn't happen in any other country. It doesn't happen in any other country. It doesn't happen in the UK. It doesn't happen in Hungary. It just doesn't happen. Why? Because we have something so special here. The fact that this is a nation born out of struggle for freedom, but born with a set of ideas and values at the heart of it, captured in our great founding documents, in the Declaration and in the Constitution. There's no other country on earth like that. And just remember this, that I can stand here and say I'm speaking to you as a proud American. There's not another country in the world where you could say the equivalent thing. You may have seen me say this on my Fox show. I say it often on July the 4th and other special days. You could go to England and live there 20 years, 30 years, and get your UK citizenship. You'll never be British. Not really. You go to Hungary, where my family's from, and you could live there 50 years. You'll never be Hungarian. Try going to China and getting your Chinese citizenship if there's someone on earth who'd want to do that. They'll never consider you Chinese. Not in a million years. It's only this country. We're the only country on earth where if you come here and you do it the right way and you sign up to our principles and the beautiful beliefs that this country is founded on, yes, you can be an American. Anyone can be an American. That's what's so special. That's why we should never stop making that pledge to our flag. So I'm a proud American, but I really am a proud Californian, despite everything else. Everything else that's going on in our state. I really mean it. There's just, look, I don't want to depress everyone. I mean, Shannon's laid out some of the things that are going on. I mean, it's just one of the defining things. If you look at what's going on in our state of California, there's a few characteristics of this Democrat one-party rule, this political monopoly, that I think are worth pointing out, because every single day something happens that reminds us of just how crazy it all is. But when we use that language, crazy and ridiculous and what, we can be more forensic, because there's some elements to their craziness that I think we need to really understand if we're going to defeat them. And the first one is their extremism. I mean, they use that word all the time trying to smear us, don't they? I mean, a party that actively amends a common sense bill that protects children from sexual predators and proactively goes into that bill in order to insert this sick language about, well, if there's a 10-year gap, that's okay. I mean, how dare they call anyone else extremist? It's absolutely outrageous. And you see the extremism every single day in so many different ways. I mean, what they did to Shannon's bill the first time around, what they're doing this time around on every issue. The extremism is just off the charts. I mean, look at the climate. And actually, there's another way of looking at the climate policy. You could say it's just, I mean, a little bit like Joe Biden. It really is his party now. Total incoherence. Okay, incoherence. So none of it makes sense. They're shutting down. I mean, I was in Bakersfield the other week. What a fantastic part of the world. Some of us met here. The wonderful event I went to. They're closing down an industry which produces the cleanest oil and gas in the world. I think I'm right in saying that. And what are we doing? It's not like we're not using it anymore. They're shipping it in on these containers. To add to what Shannon said, they are the super tankers that bring the oil and gas from places like Ecuador. At one point it was Iran, and Russia, as you mentioned. They are the dirtiest form of transportation on earth. So it's totally incoherent. And just look at what they're doing at the national level just now, Biden, right? Literally, this is what's just happened. They have put sanctions on Alaskan oil, right? There's a state where they actually do want to produce oil and gas. Our leadership here, the Democrats, don't want to. So the Biden administration doesn't need to stop California doing it, because we've already stopped ourselves thanks to these extremist Democrats. Alaska, they do want to do it. They do want to continue to produce. And the Biden administration has just put sanctions on Alaska to stop them producing the oil and gas that they want to produce at the same exact time as they're lifting sanctions on Iran and Venezuela. At the same exact time, they are shutting down production in Alaska and lifting the sanctions on Iran and Venezuela. I mean, none of it makes sense. It is just so extreme. It is totally incoherent. And then you add to that the incompetence. I mean, sometimes, we use that word too loosely because it's not incompetent. I mean, if you look at the border, that's not incompetence. That is deliberate. That is their policy. That's not an accident. And I'm not quite sure what category to put this in. Some of you may have seen me talking about this with Stuart Varney on yesterday morning. By the way, just as a little aside, very sweetly, a lot of people say, well, we miss you on Fox, Steve. Yeah, I'm still with Fox. I'm a contributor there. You can see me regularly. Stuart Varney, most Friday mornings, 8 a.m. I was talking with Stuart yesterday. Something I branded it the COVID tax. This new tax, which is all a result of what they did with the relief payments, that instead of using it to pay back the money that was owed to the federal government because of the lockdowns, they say it's the pandemic. Oh, we had the pandemic, and so we had to pay out more unemployment insurance, and we had to take money from the federal government and so on. Well, by the way, no, it wasn't the pandemic. It was your lockdowns. It was totally avoidable. So let's just get that straight. But now we're in this mess where they pay out the unemployment insurance. You get billions, $40-odd billion from the federal government, American Relief Plan, or whatever they called it. Other states use that money to pay back what they owe the federal government in terms of that extra unemployment insurance that was needed. What do we do here in California? Then spent it, exactly. Not just spent it on something useful, like rebuilding our infrastructure or producing the water storage that years ago they told us that we would have, and now we don't have, and so our farmers, I was just down in Fresno this week, being utterly screwed. 1 million acres of our farmland, the most incredible industry, a world-beating industry, and they are deliberately, because of the clampdown on water, forcing 1 million acres to be taken out of production. As I said to them, imagine that in any other industry. Imagine if they said to the tech industry, they said to Google, oh, by the way, we don't like how much electricity you're using. We're going to take away a huge proportion of your electricity. You're just going to have to shut down your servers, shut down half of Google. It's unthinkable, unimaginable. But they hate the agriculture industry, they hate the farmers, they hate the oil and gas industry, they hate the working class, basically, these people who for so long said that they were the ones who represented the working class. No, now we represent the working people of California. We do. And by the way, that is why we are going to win, because there's more of us than them, and the working people of California of all races, in all areas, see what these extremist policies are doing to their opportunity, to the idea of the California dream that is being crushed by these policies. And so coming back to the unemployment thing, so what's happening now with that? With their absolutely reckless spending of that money in bribes. That's where they spent it, bribes for the voters in 2022. They called it inflation relief payments. Surprise, handing them out in September, just before the election. And now, guess what? Double the payroll taxes for businesses. Small businesses in this state already totally crushed by taxes and regulations and the endless bureaucracy and the permits and the endless nonsense, the lawsuits. And on top of that, now they're going to double the payroll tax. It is absolutely disgraceful. These people who've been in power for so long, they absolutely cannot be allowed to get away with this any longer. We are the ones, though, that have to stop them, because nobody else is going to do that. We are going to stop them. And you can see that they're under pressure. And this is where I want to turn the corner from talking about all the things that are going wrong and head out on that highway of hope and optimism for change. Because you can see how nervous they are. They feel that change is coming. And you can see that by their response to some of the things that have been happening lately. Look at the desperate way they scrabbled around for votes to try and save Gavin Newsom's flagship Prop 1. This totally outrageous scam that, finally, they're going to solve the homelessness crisis. With another $6.4 billion of our money, which, by the way, ends up at $10 billion because it's a bond and so you have to pay interest. They barely got it through. They were running around, scuttling through, trying to find votes to just get it over the line. That is a sign of hope. This was the flagship thing for this election just now that we've had. The millions and millions of dollars that they spent on that. And it barely passed. But look at what they're doing on some of these other things. I mean, I know you've been involved in these fights. Look at the Taxpayer Protection Act. Right? So grassroots effort got that on the ballot comfortably. And look what they're doing. They're suing to get it off the ballot. They're suing because they're so frightened. Because they know they're on the wrong side of that argument. They know the people would vote for that, to stop them being able to raise taxes without limit forever. They know they're going to lose that. That's why they're so desperate to stop it, that they're suing to take it off the ballot. These people who lecture us endlessly about our democracy are suing to take something off the ballot that the people put there and want to vote for, but they don't want to give them the chance to vote. How dare they lecture us about our democracy when they want to take away people's right to vote on something that they put there with their own hard work at the grassroots level? How dare they? And then the other one, did you see this? Huntington Beach. The voters voted for voter ID just now. And guess what the Democrats are doing? Have you seen this? They are suing to stop it. Oh, can't have the voters decide how they want to run their elections, say the great champions of democracy. What a joke. They don't care about democracy. They only care about their own power. But they see it slipping away. That's the point. That's why we should be optimistic. Look, people say, I hear it all the time, Republicans can't win anymore statewide. It's too far gone. How often have you heard that? It's too far gone. Isn't it infuriating? And then they say, I point out things going wrong in California. And here's the one that I know we all feel very sick of hearing. And they say, well, just move. Just move. What? By the way, how can a farmer just move? Like, where are you going to kind of pack up your field and put it? I mean, ridiculous. How insulting. It shows how little they... And by the way, why should we move? Why should we move? They are the ones that need to move. The people who did this to our beautiful state, they need to move. They need to move out of office. And we are the ones that are going to shove them on their way. They need to move. We need to fight. That is what we need to do. But it is not a pointless fight. It is not a fight just for the sake of it. This is the thing I want all of you to understand, because I hear this the whole time. Oh, there's no point. Republicans can't win. Forget about it. You know, we can win here and there. We may be a ballot initiative here and there, and, you know, we can take some cities, take control like in Huntington Beach. But you see what they do. You take control in Huntington Beach, you pass a ballot initiative, they try and sue you to stop it. Look at what they did with the racial preferences. That ballot initiative passed massively. That's another indication, by the way, that people are sick of this far left nonsense. That was the other year. What do? They try and bring it in through legislation, through the back door, whatever they can. They try and undermine all these other things. There is no substitute. There is only one way we save California. That is to elect Republicans at every level of government. That is the only way. There's no shortcut. You know, I hear people also say, particularly I have to say here in Sacramento, I hear this a lot, particularly from the business community, should I put it like that. Well, you know, Republicans can't win, so we have to support moderate Democrats. Moderate Democrats. Where are the, Shannon, where are the moderate Democrats? I mean, you're there. Should we go hunting moderate Democrats? I think we're gonna have a very blank day, as they say in Scotland when you go and hunt deer. Look, it's just moderate Democrats. No, we are the people. We are the people who are going to save our state of California, the state we love so much. There's no one else. But the point is, it's not impossible. It's going to be hard, it's difficult, but it's not impossible. I just want to give you a couple of signs of hope. So when people say, oh, it's so impossible for a Republican to win statewide, no, it's not. We're not nearly as far behind as people want you to think, as the media wants you to think. This is a much more Republican state than the Democrats fear and the media smears. Much more Republican. So we have, and growing. I mean, even if you look backwards, up till now, I had someone actually do the math on this, and I looked at the numbers, because I didn't really believe this story that you hear that, oh, it's like an 80-20 split, so deep blue California. No. The average share of the vote for Republicans in statewide elections since the last time that we won, which was Arnold Schwarzenegger's re-election, 2006, the average share of the vote, 41.8%. 41.8%. Now look, it's not enough, but it's way closer than they'd have you think. So there's only one question. How do we get that extra, call it 10%? And again, there's so many things to be optimistic about. You look at the number in all the polls now within California who say the state's going in the wrong direction. That is the number. If you talk to a political campaign person or a polling person, the first thing they look at when they ask, is there opportunity for change in an election? They look at that number. Right direction, wrong direction. Right now, all the polls, 57%, 58%, 60%, wrong direction in California. Now, you may well say, who are these 43% of people who think California is going in the right direction? Well, I said, look, 57%, I'll take it. We don't need 57. We need 50 and a bit. So 57% of people, that's the last poll I saw, say California is going in the wrong direction. That is a majority for change, right? Right there. We have to go and win them over, but there's a majority who think we need change in California. And then you look at the demographics of our state. The largest group now in California, 40%, Latinos. They're sick and tired of this far-left madness. They're people of faith. They believe in family and hard work. They want the California dream. They want the basic, simple things that Republicans know how to deliver. Better schools, more housing, a home of your own, a good job, a safe neighborhood. That's what they want. That has been snatched away by these Democrats. Those voters are absolutely ready to support us. We just have to go out there and campaign, get them on our side, invite them in, and we're going to pull it off. And here's the last thing I'm going to say to you, because I'm going to make sure we have some time for a conversation. I am not moving. I'm not leaving. I love this state. And the more time I spend here, the more I love it. And the more time I travel around and meet all of you and see our incredible state, I realize how important it is for us to fight to save California. And it's not just actually for us. Because, I mean, there's a negative way of looking at this. I said this the other day, that you know, so much of the bad stuff that infects the rest of the country, it starts here. I mean, everything, banning gas stoves and the extremism in the EVs and all that. By the way, have you seen the madness of the electric trucks? Have you been following this? I mean, it's just it's truly unbelievable. I mean, talk about insanity. The trucks. Maybe we'll get into that a little bit later. But all these things, one after another, and it starts here. And it goes to the rest of America, and then they have to fight it there. And so we'll be doing a favor for the whole country if we stop the madness here before it can infect the whole country. We will be helping out America, not just our own home state. But there's a more positive way of looking at it. So I read this in a book, maybe an article about California a few months ago. And it was this phrase that again, maybe you've heard me say this before. I say it pretty much every time because it really captures for me what this is all about. It's about California and what it means. And here's the phrase. California means to America what America means to the world. Isn't that so beautiful and so important? Because if we believe, as we do, that America is the greatest nation on earth, the greatest nation that's ever existed, then that means California should be the greatest version of what America can be. California needs once again to be what it was, what inspired me even before I ever set foot here. An absolute beacon of hope and inspiration and opportunity and energy and dynamism and everything good that's in the world. California represents the best of America. That's what we should be. We have been before, and we will be again. I'm absolutely sure of it. So this is what I want to leave you with. My commitment to make that happen. My commitment to make that happen is absolute. This is my focus. This is what I'm devoting my time to. This is why I'm on the road meeting Shannon everywhere we meet these days. It seems to be every other day. This is why I'm having such an amazing time doing it, because it is an amazing state, and you are amazing people, and it is fantastic. And just imagine what we could be again if we had reasonable, positive, practical, common sense policies that restored the California dream, that vision and that aspiration, that way of thinking about the world that gives everyone the chance for upward mobility of every race and every background. That's what we need to fight for. So what I need you to do is answer this question. Are you ready for that fight? Are you ready to fight to save California like we've never fought before? Well, in that case, I need you to stand with me right now. Stand with me and make that promise. Make that promise that we will fight to save this beautiful state and to make California golden, truly golden, together. Thank you very much, everybody.